Yo, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Welcome,
folks. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the show, folks.
Mindset Ready Grow, man.
Mindset Ready Grow. We got a lot going on today, huh?
Every day is another day to get your mindset ready to grow. It's so interesting how we was talking about this topic, and it all kind of flows together. If you think about it, everybody knows on your mark, get set, go, right?
Go.
Go. It's like, where are we going? What we're talking about. Aha.
Aha. What is that, velvet?
It's time, man.
Yes, man. Indeed. So today's show is going to be the fulfillment formula. Why don't you take a little bit of time to talk about that for a second, get the viewers' chops wet, and then we'll go ahead and start the show.
Well, man, you know, in 2018, I went through a revolution, a mental, physical, spiritual, just a soulful, come to Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad. I'm talking about Martin Luther King, everything that was good that I could reach, I was trying to surround myself with. And I came to this moment where I realized that, wow, I was doing everything. I can do everything different. Not that I was doing it wrong, but I could just make a slight adjustment and I could probably change. I can make 1 degree change. It's really 1 degree, which is really phenomenal. Because I think like 451 degrees makes fire, and like 450 it doesn't. So that 1 degree really matters.
1 degree.
Just one.
1 degree less, you ain't boiling. You ain't hot. You hot, but you ain't hot enough.
You ain't hot enough. You're just not hot enough.
Not hot enough.
You can't win. But I did, though, man. I did. 2018, I went through this change and I became humble. I said, let me really ask my wife, what she really thinks about me. Let me really seek to see the insight I really probably was trying to make up on my own. So doing that took a little humility.
Yeah.
And then
courage.
I
You
mean,
had to eat some Wheaties that morning. Like, I'm gonna
I
get
had to eat
strong and
a
just
couple
get
of those.
ready.
I was eating
Yeah.
a few boxes a night, trying to build up. But I did it. I did it because I was seeking. The whole goal was I was seeking truth. Humility. I'm seeking truth. So I'm getting to this. So this fulfillment formula, I call it that because what I did literally changed my life. 2018 changed my marriage, changed my relationship with my children, my business, my mindset, my finances. Everything changed. In my marriage, my wife also, she changed. Something for her exploded 2018. She'll mark the year as well. And that,
I marked that year as well. That was a big change for me too. I don't know what was happening, but
wow,
yeah.
you see, I don't know what your methodology was going on. I'm not sure what sparked it, but I got an idea. And I know for us, the fact that
Let's put that. Hold on a second. Let's put that in the comments, guys. If you had something happen in 2018 too, let's build upon it. Put that in the comments. Kind of share what you've done. But go ahead. 2018 seems to be like it was a metamorphosis year for a lot of folks. So drop that in the comments if you're watching this. Go ahead, brother.
it was, man, it was a metamorphosis year. You can call it that. We was crawling, we came out of that cocoon, and we started looking at our wings and the colors on those things. But it didn't start off like that. So 2018, what happened was when I became I had a slice of humble pie, right? I took a bite. It allowed me to ask the right questions. Then, once I heard from her and started understanding her love language, we're talking about my wife now. I'm asking her about what she really thinks and feels, and I'm hearing things I never really heard. So now, because of that, I self-reflected on our behavior, our relations, and my relations in it. Then I course corrected by then maybe planning date night. Bringing her flowers because for some reason this is like lights up the entire world. Like I started doing the things that I found that worked, and then what happened in this woman? She started doing things that I haven't really seen her do in a long time, or wherever, for me.
Yeah.
And so together, man,
Yeah.
together we're better. So that's the fulfillment formula: humility, self-reflection, course correction. What's up, Darlene?
Yeah, so we're gonna talk more about that today. Fulfillment formula. We're gonna touch base on those 4 pillars and kind of go a little bit more in depth. And we want to hear from you guys. So make sure you guys send some comments, ask questions, or just give us your feedback as we go through this. Make sure you take a moment to share this out. The show has begun. We started 1, now we've moved. It is your midweek motivation Wednesdays at 1. And so we want to make sure that you guys remember that, lock that in, put it into your calendar. You can subscribe to us on our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. It's all Mindset Ready Grow. And, go to Facebook and set a reminder there, or just subscribe to YouTube, and we'll make sure that you guys click that bell as well, and you can get notified when we go live. But it's going to be Wednesdays at 1s, that midday motivation. Stay tuned. Share this link out with friends. We'll be right back. Let's start the show. Love that intro, man. That gets me hyped every time. Let's go. Let's go.
Space, dude. I feel like we're going past the cosmic speed limit.
Yes, sir.
186,000 miles a second. The speed of light, by the way. Okay.
All right, so let's dive in. So we got the mindset fulfillment formula. We kind of touched base a little bit about those 4 pillars. Let's start at that very first one. Step 1, we're talking about, of course, humility, right? Humility is step 1. Humility is not thinking too highly of yourself or that you possess all the answers. This gives you a freedom from pride and arrogance, and it should manifest as a willingness to learn and grow. And so we're all about growth here at Mindset Ready Grow. The first step you got to do in any type of growth situation is you got to do a little pruning. You got to pull some things back. You got to let some things go. So let's talk more about humility, what that means. Let's give some examples. And we want to hear from you guys if you guys have any examples of situations in humility, what that might mean to you. But go ahead, brother, to talk about that.
Yeah, that's, humility. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. Going to be available very, very soon. It's free to everyone, and all you do is pay for the shipping. There's a slice of humble pie, and you can put it on your keychain. You can put it on your mirror in your car. You can hang it on your doorknob, whatever you want. And it's just a reminder just to be humble. And so we need the reminders because we're ran by the ego.
Yeah.
Like in order for us to be who we are, we got to be us. So that's all about us. That's the ego. We need it. It drives us. But if we're not careful, it can drive us off a cliff. You know, it swells us, but if we're not careful, it can swell our heads too big. Then we're floating up, and we wonder why no one's around us, because your head's too big and you're floating.
Get the big head.
You're floating, man.
The balloon dome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta pop that, come back down, slice a humble pie. And how do you do that? You know, think about other people. That's easy.
Yeah.
Let's make it simple. Think about others. Just think about others. What happens, the ego is you. So to get out of you, think about others. That immediately will open the door for humility parties.
So I'm gonna add to that. So humility, you know, for me, again, that's step one, right? So if you've ever been in some kind of confrontation, let's say it's business, let's say it's in a marriage or a relationship of any kind, or just when you was a kid on the playground, you know, there's a saying that says if you point the finger at somebody, you're pointing 4 back at yourself or 3 back at yourself, right? So when you think about that, you know, it's great to kind of assess the situation and say, hey, you know, am I wrong in this situation? I could be, you know, I'm not better than anybody else. If you start to kind of become aware of your limitations, you know, even Superman had limitations. Kryptonite, that thing would take him out. He knew his limitations. As powerful as he is or was, he knew he had limitations. And so knowing that, you know, that says I too can die. I too can be hurt and harmed. But I'm thankful for what I do have. See, now you shift from a mind state to that, what we talked about last week, which was attitude, gratitude, altitude. Remember that?
Yep.
Gratitude, attitude, altitude. And so humility should get you into a place to say, you know, I understand my weaknesses, but also I can't really be mad at this other person because if I'm weak, they have weaknesses as well.
Yep.
So maybe our problems is just in a lack of understanding. So let's go and start with our next step, which will be reflection. Let's reflect on the things that might have happened or how they happened or why they happened that way.
Big.
So I love how humility opens the door for growth. It opens the door for communication. It opens the door for transformation and change. It's the door opener. It unlocks everything. Without humility, you stay bound up and chained and locked in. And in this fit of anger or in a fit of I know best and everybody should listen to me and I'm the conqueror and I'm the ruler of all these things. And you're gonna lose more than yourself. You're gonna lose your people, your friends, your community. So many people have lost their businesses or even their marriages because they stay bound in this place where they refuse to be refuse to be humble.
Yep.
So, you know, that's our very, very first step.
And so, you know, when you reflect, though, it's interesting. This fulfillment formula works everywhere. It works in your life. It works in business. Because, you know, we think about business, same thing. Humility, be open-minded, broad perspective, willing to accept and understand. And then self-reflecting, reviewing.
Yeah. Step 2, self-reflection. You know, even on a diet, right? You have to go through and say, you know, let me humble myself to say, you know, maybe I have gone a little too hard on the cupcakes or something. You know, you gotta get humble
down a little bit.
You can't say I don't care how big I am, I'm still sexy or whatever. You know, you might be big and sexy, and that's okay. It's a lot of folks that's doing that, but it's about maybe your health. It's more about, you know, the longevity of life and the quality of life. So having a moment to just humble yourself first and say, you know what, maybe it's time I put the cupcakes down and pick a weight up. And so then we start reflecting. We say, how did this all go wrong? For me, it was dealing with mental health issues, sharing that to get better. Man, that's a whole nother avenue we didn't touch it. You know, we talked about business and relationships, a little bit about health, but yes, even in your mental health, the decisions that you might make and how those decisions might affect you or your perception of those decisions and things. So let's go to step 2, reflection, looking back at yourself and actions, assessing the past from different angles and possibilities.
Yeah.
Branch on that, brother.
You know, the one road will get you one way. 2 roads to get you 2 ways.
Yeah.
And you think about ways as opportunities and avenues. You want to have a broad perspective. So you want to reflect on everything you're doing so you can have an understanding. You want to be able to assess the past so you can have a better future. I mean, you don't want to stay focused on the past. Think about the past like, you know, when you're driving in a car, the rear view mirror, you know, it's small. And the windshield is big. That's where you're going. So that's where all your focus is going. But you do need to take a glance in that mirror and take a look at the past to reflect. so you know where you're going and what you're doing. Because that's the only way I was able to change and make those adjustments in my marriage. That's the only way that our business, literally, my partner and our company, 1 year old, no money at all. Next 6 months, we've made six figures. I mean, it's not a whole lot of money, but a lot of companies weren't surviving at all. And we figured something out to make it work quickly. And it's because we reflected on what we were doing wrong. We were trying to sell a technology to people who had no idea what the technology was. Instead, we reflected and said, let's just go solve their problem. And then once we solve it, they'll say, hey, what was that you used?
That's it right there. When reflecting, like you said, it's that little rear view mirror. It's a quick glance, and it's just a small part. You still should have most of your attention on what's coming at you. That mirror, it's just a quick glance. It's a side profile. A lot of people get stuck and they keep living and looking in the past. But I got to tell you, living in the past has no future.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that when we do our reflection, we're not stuck there and say, man, if I could have only just, if I could have just listened more, maybe she would still be here. And maybe if I just would. No, because it is what it is. You got to trust that too. It is what it is. But how do we make it better? How do we say, what, I didn't do too well yesterday, but I'm going to do better today. Right.
That's it.
So take that moment to absolutely take that moment to first become humble, then you reflect, do an analysis of what happened, check it out from different angles. Maybe if I would have you should be able to see their point of view better too when you reflect and say, I see what they were trying to say. I see how that could have been offensive. I see how that might not have been understood well. Okay, let me run some scenarios in my mind. So we're just reflecting, we're looking back at that. And then as we run those scenarios, we're going to go into our next phase 3, which is correction, correction, making the proper adjustments based on your reflective analysis. So we follow these steps. You see, we were humble first to say, hey, something needs to change, or there's something that's off here. Could be me, could be them.
Right.
But let's open the door and find out what's really going on. Then we're going to reflect on ourselves. So humility first is about the other person. It's giving them room. It's giving them grace and space to operate and say, maybe I'm wrong. I have to give you some room. But then when we reflect, we bring it back on us. We go to them first, then back on us.
Yeah.
Not that we're telling them, hey, you suck and you're wrong. No, we're just giving open opportunity to see what they're saying. And then we see us. We reflect. A lot of times we're so busy saying, wrong. Yeah, we're always seeing ourselves so much that we don't give them a chance. We're just always saying, I see me and this is my point of view.
Right.
Seeing you comes after seeing them. That reflection comes after humility. But then now that we've been able to open that door, see the communication, see it from their side, and then reflect on us and our actions, now we go into course correction, making proper adjustments based on that reflective analysis. Analysis says there's no right or wrong. It's me to look at the facts and to determine the truth based on those things equally. I have to know if I go beyond this temperature, it's now boiling. If I stay below that, those are facts. And that's where we want to stick at what's true to both sides, to both hot and cold, to both boiling and not boiling, to steam and liquid. So let's talk more about that. Go ahead and chime on that, Rob.
Yeah, and Joe said stress was the major cause, so knowing it needed to be addressed helps him knowing it allowed him to release it.
Yeah.
That awareness. That's good, man.
And that's where your reflection comes in. The reflection and humility should bring awareness that we now have the ability to start building something new and implementing correction. So now we're just formulating that. We're looking at our analysis and seeing what that data has pulled, rather if it's your business, rather if it's your relationship. You're looking at the data and analyzing it and saying, how is this the way that it's manifested?
So, if you're, I think about, when I was playing football and, I line up on as a wide receiver and, wasn't that big, but I was pretty fast. But most of the guys who lined up in front of me were bigger. Line up at the field as a slot. Guy lines up in front of me.
Yeah.
Quarterback hikes the ball.
Hey.
Defender hits me and pushes me on the ground. I'm like, yeah. Wait a minute. Okay, that's not gonna work.
No, that's not how we do it.
And first of all, how the heck is he that strong? I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so that plays over. Everybody in the huddle, come back. So boom, humility says, all right, this guy's stronger, better, faster, whatever than me. Self-reflection says, okay, what did he just do? What did I do? Course correction says this. Next time we go out there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give a real hop jab step. And
Yeah.
what that is just giving them a nice quick movement one way, and then without all the while I know I'm going the other way. So we do that, get past them, run the pattern, catch the puck and catch the pass. I don't score, but
But you caught the ball and you got
pretty,
away from big boy.
pretty
Yeah.
significant.
Yeah.
You know, right there. So humility, self-reflect, course correct. Course correction allows you to then reap the benefits of the self-reflection analysis. Course
Yeah.
correction allows your marriage to stay together because you've taken the right road. It
Yeah.
allows you to lose the weight, build the business, write the rap, do the thing.
Course correction is the new plan, right? Let's rewrite this
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Okay, this story was not that well written, so let me be humble. All right, now let me reflect. All right, now let's rewrite this thing, course correction. And our last phase 4, is projection. So humility, reflection, correction, projection. Projection is an estimate or forecast of future situations or the trend based on a study of present ones. But it also means something that's coming from within oneself to outside the world. Now we're ready to go back, regroup, and give to of ourselves again. We started this whole process with giving of ourselves, but we came off on the wrong foot, so we had to be humble. Then we had to reflect on what happened. Then we made a new plan. Now we're projecting based on that new plan. Like he said, I'm going to catch the ball. I'm going to get away from this guy. I'm going to do these things. It's the hope for a better pattern. It's the hope for something, a different outcome. It's the seed for that new thing to grow and manifest in your life. This is the process of anything that grows. It has to be a seed that's sown. It matures. It then produces some sort of fruit, whether it's good or bad. And a new seed is sown so it can repeat that process. Your new seed was when you this is your sowing time now. Your projection is saying, I project this is going to be the outcome. Now I'm going to have good fruit. My apples are going to be strong and ripe, and we're going to have this harvest and eat well. So we got to make sure that we go through these 4 steps: humility first, reflection, course correction, projection. Let's talk more about projection. Give me a good example of a projection, or how that is important and vital in that step.
Well, see, your projection is your future focused idea. It's where you're going. And so, if you don't know where you're going, I think somebody said any road will get you there. And that's not good. But if you know where you're going and you can have an idea, then you can start to formulate plans and resources and things to support that. It's really like the cream or the icing on the cake, And so I have a plan, Elon Musk and those guys have really extravagant plans like ending world suffering. Like, it's pretty amazing. Now, the reason why that won't ever come to pass completely, because people will always have free will and they'll choose what they want, which is fine. At least that's available. And so I project like minimizing hunger, homelessness,
Yep, hunger, homelessness, lagging Wi-Fi. We want to fix those things. We want to make sure everybody has Wi-Fi connectivity, 5G.
We want to have that. We want to have that, and they're starting to make technologies now to where Wi-Fi is going to be available without just towers. So I'll be first in line for this. So
So speaking about that too, projection. I want to make sure folks understand too. Like we talked about, reflection is very tricky not to look back and get stuck in that past and not being able to produce a future. Well, that same danger lurks in our projection, where we start to have so much projection that it's just becoming fantasy. It's becoming, oh man, I'm gonna do this thing, and man, I'm gonna win the lottery. I'm gonna have billions of dollars in this, and that's not projection. A projection is really based on data. It is that I have assessed the situation. I found what's going on. I have a plan. I had a plan first, and I tried the plan out. It wasn't great. I tweaked it a little bit. I'm tweaking it, and here's my new projection. It's a part of a system. Fantasy is not part of a system. Fantasy is your imagination running wild. It's anime, it's comic books, it's these things. And probably Superman and Batman in our fantasies, but in reality,
word right there, man.
Yeah,
I like that word, system.
Yeah, if we had to choose, I'd rather be Batman than Superman. Everything about Superman was kind of outrageous and wild, but Batman, his stuff was based on trial and error. He had a system.
Stop
things that depended on things.
Stop what you're doing. Okay, stop what you're doing. We can do it. We can do it. We can make a separate show about this if you like. And I'm sure you have lots of data to back up this Batman character. I'm sure you do, but I have just as much data to back up the Man of Steel. Okay,
Man
but
of
it's fine.
Steel.
But to your point,
Yeah.
though, you're right based off what you're saying.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, we got our own fan club. I am a fan of Batman. I always like Batman, you know, just because he was a human. Like we all can achieve that status, you know. Elon Musk is trying to be the next Batman. You know, you might find some crime fighting going on in San Diego. You know, it's probably Elon dressed up with him and his nephew or something. But anyways, so that's our 4 pillars. Yes, sir. Projection is another part of your plan to prosperity. It absolutely is. It's a key part. You have to have that. You know, you have to cast that vision forward so people can see it. When you think about, you know, a projector, like a movie projector, so the image is actually coming out first, right? You start with projection, you end with projection. So the projector projects the image first. It hits the screen, right? The next step after that is it being transparent. It's on there. It's showing you what it is. It's displaying out. That's your humility, saying, hey, I'm going to lay myself out there so all can see me. And then the next thing is reflection. It reflects off of the screen back to you, right? Sometimes that image isn't clear. It's not right. So what do? We have to correct it. So we adjust the focus, adjust those things. So now the vision is clear. And we start back again with the projector doing this thing, and it's a repeat system. You have to have a way to convey what you're trying to say, what you're trying to do, how people can see that visually. That's your projection. Here's what I'm hoping to achieve. So let's just run this through really quickly. Let's just have a mock. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to do like a little mock example of what that might be.
Yep.
And thank you guys for watching us. You know, we want to make sure that you guys have a chance to subscribe to us. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Mindset Ready Grow. Everything is with the W except for Twitter. They cut your letters short, so we had to cut the W off. Everything else is the full GROW. And connect with us there. As Rob said, we're going to have some things that we're working on now that we can help you to kind of participate and share this message. We're going to have T-shirts and things coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned. Connect with us on Patreon as we build our storefront out, T-shirts and the Humble Pie keychain and these things like that, just to show that you support the channel and everything and support what we're doing. All these proceeds are going to do things where, you know, you guys don't know, but we're working to have empowerment centers where we can help teach folks about business and things, go into these centers and teach people in less fortunate areas. So those resources are going to be pushed into there to make sure they got computers in hands and things like that. So continue to follow along with us and continue with the journey. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. And you can share this link out, tell folks to join us.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back.
Mindset ready, grow. Get your mind right. Mindset ready, grow. Mindset ready, grow. Get your mindset ready, grow.
Welcome back, folks.
Mindset ready, grow.
It's catchy, ain't it? It's catchy.
Mindset ready, grow. Yeah, it's time to grow. Put the seed in the ground.
You got to put a seed in the ground. Today's topic is fulfillment formula. We're going to run through those really quickly for anybody that's just joining us in. We got our first step, humility, not thinking too highly of yourself. Reflecting is next. Reflection is step 2. Whatever you feel that the conflict might have been, or even just the failures that might have happened through business, health, exercise, whatever that is, you humble yourself first. Hey, I'm not the greatest. I need room to improve, and knowing that others will help you to do so. So you reflect on your actions. Next thing we want to do is come back in. We do a little course correction, making adjustments to what we've done previously. And then we finalize things with projection. So humility, reflection, correction, projection, estimated forecast of what's going to happen next, and sharing that now within ourselves to the outer world.
Yeah.
So Now we want to go through some examples of something like that. And if you guys have any comments that you want to share with us, or any examples that you want to share, any questions at all, just make sure you guys come on in with those. Discipline is key. Having discipline, yeah, absolutely. Discipline is key, and that goes back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. We want to talk about renewing your mind daily, right? Learn something new each day and practice today what you learned yesterday. And what
Yeah.
you learn today, you practice that tomorrow so that it becomes ingrained into your mind, into your psyche. This is discipline. It's causing a routine. It's causing these habits to form. And did we already talk? We talked about habits last week, right? Habits to automation.
Yeah.
Shifting
Yeah.
a habit to something that's not like, where you're trying to make it happen. You've programmed yourself to where it goes from habit to automatic, and it's automation.
That
And these go ahead, bro.
No, I was gonna say every time you do it, you review it. You're just writing it deeper into your subconscious.
Yep.
The information is going deeper. So imagine your subconscious like this. Imagine a snow slope, a ski slope, right? And then it's fresh, nothing, just completely fresh. And then you go down with skis, one time. Okay, once. And now if you go down once, if you go down twice, it's gonna be a little deeper. 3 times more, 4, and the more you go, the deeper it gets. And that's what happens when you're reviewing, reflecting, reviewing this information or whatever it may be. It just gets deeper ingrained and becomes more part of what you do naturally.
Yeah. I'm gonna give a little story, little testimony, little example. So I've had a couple of businesses in my lifetime, and I remember there was one business I started, and in my mind when I did it, I thought, I got this. I'm a pro at this. This is my lane. I'm gonna do very well. And I did very well starting off. I did really well, and it was running. I had the steam, and then things shift, markets shift, people shift. What's cool today is not cool tomorrow. When that shift happened, my confidence said, well, I'm going to keep going. I'm strong. I could do this. I kept going and kept going. I never took a pause because I was so confident in myself. And so before I knew it, it got worse and it got worse. And then I was kind of tapping into my savings, and I was doing these things to try to save what was happening, because in my mind, my system was perfect because, hey, I was confident before I started. When I started, it did really well, really quickly. So there can't be the system is broken. That's been performing. So I go through the process to the point to where I'm just about to lose the business. And you get to this place where you say, I've tried everything. I tried everything. Girlfriend's not happy. You're not happy. Things aren't working out. You find yourself a little bit easier to get frustrated. That's not good in life, period. You don't want to live on that edge. So eventually I had to say, maybe I'm missing something. I talked to a mentor of mine. I said, hey, you do these things. And what am I doing wrong? I'm doing this and that. He said, hey, everything you're talking about is spot on. The problem that you might be facing is just simply, the timing of how you're doing it, or the people, the way that you're presenting it to people. Like Rob said, he was trying to give them a thing they didn't know they needed, and he had to shift that and say, well, let me just fix your problem. And then you'll say, what was it that you did? So the reason I started off good was because I went to people I knew was already going to want what I had. I went to that people who was already familiar with it. Once I ate all those people up, they're already consumed. My next batch was foreign to what I'm doing. And the next batch, I had to give them education as well as promotion of the product.
Right.
And I wasn't ready for that. So if I never would have got to that humble place, so, I had to get humble, ask somebody, why is this happening? But it took me to be at my end. I'm like, man, I'm stressed out. So I did that. And then obviously, I had to reflect on, wow, what he said was right. I had to believe that. And obviously we go next stage is course correct, which could be very challenging. It could be changing your whole dynamics. And it actually was. My business dynamic had to change completely. Like Rob said, now we're no longer trying to sell a product. We're just trying to offer help.
Yeah.
That's 2 different hands,
Yep.
So once I was able to do that and change gears and give people a different, it was the same. I was using the same tools, same products, but it was a different service, if that makes sense. So let me give you, I'll just kind of elaborate that, because that might help somebody right now. I feel like that might be a blessing to somebody. So the business that I was doing was marketing. I was offering people marketing and really just video production. So I'm doing video production. We're coming in. I really wanted to make films, but to pay for the films, I would do, a shooting of something with the senator or governor, or somebody's taking something, and I would take those gigs. So I felt like, man, what's happening? And I try to blame it on cell phones. Everybody can shoot stuff with a cell phone. I found all these excuses of why things weren't working, but people didn't really feel like they needed a video. But what they really needed was marketing. What they really needed was assistance on how to make their business grow, how to get it from A to B. And the video should have been the tool. But for me, it was the end all product because that was all I was offering. When I shifted my gears and I said, okay, let me offer a service to help them grow their business.
Good.
By the way, you need video to do that. You need a website to do that. You need things.
Yeah.
My business grew because they're like, yeah, shoot a video. Oh, you said you did a website too? Oh, do the website too. Oh, you can make my flyers and graphics.
Come on.
Goodness. Can you make my logo too? Wow, that's crazy. Pretty soon we're designing every part of their business.
Dang.
All they said is I have a thought and a name. Sometimes we even gave them the name. Then we go a step further, help them file the corporation papers, the trademarks, the whatever else. And now we became a full service company. I had to add staff and bring people on, and I couldn't hardly contain it. And I got folks working for me from other parts of the country and the state that we only talk over video, but they're a part of my company that's located in DC. It grew phenomenally because as I helped others, then it was a need for others to come in and help me and so on and forth. We found that that sweet spot. But I had to first be humble because I was blaming everybody.
That's interesting.
Blaming the phones and they're all
blame it on the rain. Yeah, you blame it, boy. That's interesting. And that blame game will keep you blaming. Interesting. Blame game will keep you blaming.
My projections was off. I was projecting before I was reflecting. I had it out of order. I was projecting that the problem is this, the problem is that. It's not me, it's not me, it's not this, it's that.
Oh, that was a rap. Often. That was a whole rap. Like I swear.
Did I flow? The poet didn't know it. It's in my blood, baby. It's in my blood.
Projecting before I was reflecting. That's why I went in the wrong direction.
Yeah, man. So we had to get the course correction to get the right perspective, So hopefully that example kind of showed you something. But once I was able to kind of humble myself, it was not anything else. It was something I needed to do. Reflect on what I have been doing and what people told me, the good wisdom I got from others that knew better, and then made those corrections. I was able to make proper projections and not projections on, this is the reason why I'm failing, but here's how I'm going to succeed. That's a totally different way of projecting.
Yeah.
I
like that. Projection, man, is you got to be some accuracy to that. Obviously it's still somewhat of a hypothesis, but there got to be some accuracy to that, some legitimacy to it. That's good, man. I think I love this. That's a good component. You added that projection to the fulfillment formula. That it's now added in. Because you got to have that. You got to self-reflect, course correct. Course correct. Once you course corrected, now where are you going? Right. Humility opened the door. Now I can see. Self-reflection allowed me to look deep within me. Right.
There you go.
Course correction allowed me to change. So now I can see where I can go. And now if I project, dude, that is very interesting. That's a very simple force. Let's do these 4 steps, everyone, all together.
Yeah.
Get humble.
Humility.
Check yourself.
Yep.
Before you wreck yourself.
Reflect. Yep. Check and reflect.
And then make a decision, an intentional decision about what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Man, that's
course correct. Get that out there and then project. And I think projection, because it actually is where you start and you end. Because anything you've done, you started with the projection. You might have came in the house and angry because the kids left the bike lane in the garage and you almost ran over and you're just mad. And so you come in and the first thing you do is projecting. Yeah. Hey, why is the thing wrong projection? You started wrong. That's where you usually start at.
Yep.
Even your business, you say, hey, I'm gonna go make some money today. Go out here and try to sell some waters in the park.
Yeah.
It's a great hustle. If you've been in New York, that's what they do all day. They're out there with the little carts and they're like, got that cold water, and you buying them for $5 because you're thirsty. You ain't been walking too long, right?
I sold them and bought them.
Yeah, there you go. So but so you start with projection, and then you got to sometimes come back to humility and correction. But projection is key because you start in there, and if you start wrong with blaming others or not going with correction first, not going with reflection first, not going with those steps in order, because you got to have the data that you extract from correction. You have to have the data that you extract from reflection to do the proper projection. Otherwise, it's just, spouting off into the air. It's like a firefighter trying to put out a fire and his hose is out of control. You got to narrow that thing down. You got to target what that is. And if you don't know how to operate properly and function properly, man, last week was a great show. We talked about functioning and how to function properly, these keys were right in there. We missed the opportunity to kind of share that and preface that before this episode. But fulfillment formula, guys, we want to hear your comments. We want to get your feedback. What do you guys think about the show so far? Have you guys learned anything today? Has it helped you to kind of get a better mindset for going forward in the challenges that you might face in your life? Or is it all just, like, what? Is it confusing?
Mm-hmm.
What are they talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Where you at? They just made that up. Fulfillment formula. Where are we at? Right?
Yeah.
Let us know, right? So just send some comments that way. And hey, if you're watching this after the live stream, we want to let you know that you guys can still keep in touch with us. You can still get involved. Send us an email at mindsetreadygrow@gmail.com. And let us know your feedback. Let us know your questions, or if you have ideas for a future show, anything like that. And we'd be more than happy to kind of have a back and forth with that. Make sure you follow us too on our social channels. We got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. Connect with us. And we really want to leverage those too.
Yeah.
Start putting some more information out there, because there's so much we can do in the show, but we want to make sure that we have room for conversation after this.
Yeah.
People have questions. We really are passionate about empowering people, giving them knowledge and tools. And, we're doing what we can in this little quick segment here, just to let you guys know too, watching this, that we have training courses that's been developed that we're going to be doing some high level executive training on, like starting your business, your corporation, about, filing your taxes, all these different things, trademarks, and so on and forth. COVID kind of put a stop to those things, because it's kind of a thing that we definitely want to do one-on-one. Thought about doing it over video chat, but that's there's a separation there. You're still able to be distracted by the kids coming in the room or whatever, where we want to have it in a full session, feel the energy of each other, talking, having conversation, laughing, sharing stories, building that team, because that's what, anything you do, your business, your relationships, it's all about teamwork. It's all about cooperating with somebody else. It's never good for somebody to be by themselves. No man is an island, right? So we don't want to do those things, but just keep following us on our social channel. So when those things get deployed, if you're interested in those things, or somebody that could use some assistance getting their business together, or developing themselves, period, we're going to have life coaches. We have therapists. We have, like me and Rob, man, we've done so many things. We're licensed in so many things, and we're still pursuing other things. Pretty soon I'll have, now that we've done like all our self-help licensing things, I'm going to boat licensing and being a captain and these other things, but we never stop learning. We never have lose the passion to learn and share those educations with others.
ABG, always be growing.
Always be growing.
I just made that up. I was like, I was thinking for a C word. I couldn't think of it. Okay, G. It sounds like C.
Listen, folks, so keep these in mind, humility, reflection, correction, projection. Right? So let's see if we got any comments. Anybody have any questions? Anything you want to add to the show today? I really appreciate the folks that do tune in, and even the folks that don't get to catch us at 1:00. They catch us later on. I get a lot of feedback, and people are really appreciative of the things we're sharing. The whole motivation behind this, it's nothing for like our own selves. We are very busy people. We have a lot going on, but we wanted to give a platform for folks to tap into, to get a quick little snippet. My experience in doing things, working with businesses and companies, and in my marketing life and other things, is that nobody has all the answers, neither do we. A lot of times we learn from our clients in different arenas, but we have a lot of information to share with them as well. And it could be that they're just not they're not dividing their funds properly. In our first episode, we talked about navigating our funds with in 4 degrees: past, present, future, and then long term, our legacy. So we divide our monies up in those quadrants. A lot of folks don't. Just having that simple visualization changes things, and say, wait, my past is my debts, my present is my current needs, my future is things that I expect that I'll need. Like as we grow, we might need a bigger building or bigger office, so we set money aside. We might need more trucks or whatever. But then legacy is that, what does it all amount to? What is this accumulation? What is this thing that's going to now take care of me after I've taken care of my debts, my past, I've taken care of my present, and I've made an allocation for the future. Now something should be there to take care of me. If you see those visualizations, those little nuggets that we leave in these shows, that's the point of the show, is to empower folks with even just one little simple nugget that changes directions of things. Hope you guys share these things out too. I'm gonna leave Rob the last couple of minutes to close out here. If you guys have any questions, we'll take those, but give us a last word of empowerment, brother.
That's good, man. That's good. I want No matter what you learn and what you do, it's important that you take action, to try it out, see if it works or not. Because everything doesn't work for everybody. And not everything works the same for everybody. But the hair follicle on your head is no follicle ever like yours, ever will be like yours. Never, ever. That's how unique we are. And so we are very, very unique individuals. We got to spend time with ourselves in order to get to know this unique self.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to learn externally. It happens internally. So you got to go inward with that. I'm going to play this promo for you guys for this webinar. And I want anybody who has any kind of business, I don't care what you do, how you do it, I want you to come to this webinar because there is a thing called technology and it impacts businesses. But as of late, it's impacting businesses so much so that either they're staying in business or they're going out of business. And I don't want people going out of business, because that impacts families, impacts the community. It's just hardship that don't need to happen. And a lot of times we go out of business because we're not educated. I mean, our nonprofit, we started it. My wife and I, we started 2007. We lasted. Did you know that we lasted in only 20%, 10% of people of nonprofits actually last? And then in the first year, 50% of them fail. I'm like, why? And I was trying to figure out why. It's because they just don't understand.
Yeah.
Doing good work. You just don't understand stuff. So the point is this webinar, it's going to be at the end of the month. And 27th, it's going to be right here on this channel, 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's free. You come, you learn, you grow. Mindset Ready Grow. Let's play it.
We have created a blueprint that will get you on the fast track to benefiting from this amazing technology overnight. There has never been anything like this. If you want to be ahead of the game and learn how to automate what you are already doing, then join us this month for an RPA 101 webinar. These 30 minutes will give you insight on how the Fortune 500 have been growing so fast year after year. There is a next level of automation and it's called RPA. Join us this month for the 30-day blueprint to automation success.
That's it. And the links in the comments, free to sign up. Information is free. All you got to pay is attention. Come on, man. That's it.
I want to tell folks too, go back through our archives. I think this is episode 4 or 5, something like that. And just remind you guys that we've talked about quite a few different things. One week we actually kind of covered quite a bit about our future when we talked about how we divvy up our monies. And can't stress this enough, guys. Coinbase, they actually went public today, and they're going to probably be the first ETF that's out there. It could be them or Fidelity. I'm not really sure. That's going to allow people to no longer, you don't have to buy the coin to make money on it. You can start trading against it. So options and futures and things on the coins, which is huge. Bitcoin just hit like 63,000 a coin yesterday or something. So as those volumes are increasing, a lot of folks are going to, they don't have 63,000 to buy a whole coin, but they can put $2,000 on a option of it or something and watch how it fluctuates. But those things also generate the movement of those things. So these currencies will start to move. But I want to still encourage you guys to get in and buy some currency, because as those things do increase in value, they are going to shift and transition and take over the way that we do things. Like the internet came in and it changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's one coin called Ethereum that's more so like the Windows software that operates your computer. And so the internet is no good without that Windows software. Well, Ethereum is kind of that same thing. It doesn't, the whole coin thing is kind of broken without this software that's running it, this system that's doing it. And that's Ethereum. It's now up to like $2,200. This time last year, it was at $200. It's moving very quickly, but it doesn't matter when you get in. As long as you get in, it's never too late. If you keep saying, oh, it's too late, you're going to see that 2,000 become 4,000, become 20,000, become 20. They say Ethereum could be worth $40 trillion. So we have a long way to go, a lot of growth to go. So use this link here. You can log in, go back. I think it's a couple episodes ago. And we do a walkthrough on how to set up your account. We talk about why you want it.
I set mine up because literally zero understanding, not zero understanding, but
Yeah.
very primitive understanding in regards to this. And I remember I called you. I was like, "Look, man, what you know about this? Because I'm getting ready to dive in. I mean, when I get ready to immerse myself in something, because I know this is where it's at. I know it's going digital.
Yeah.
The paper's not even real. Like if people even understood like how the dollar works and how it was created and what the value is, like we're actually just trading numbers, digits, not
Exactly.
paper.
Right.
Already digits. So anyway,
Most of your purchases are through a debit card or something now, or through you tapping your phone or your watch or something. So we've
yeah.
already been there. We've already begun the conditioning, but now it's about shifting those markets. How does the banks transfer those values over? How do they do that? And listen, man, there's a whole lot we can go into. We don't have enough for this show, but you think about why is our interest rate so low? Why is the real estate market booming when really it shouldn't be? That's because there's a reason for that that helps to shift these markets. But there's something that has to come next.
Hmm.
It's not really good. So you got to be careful with what's going on. I would caution you to kind of pay attention, kind of dig deeper into some.
I think we need to do that. I know we got Jacqueline Wade. We got Jacqueline Wade 365 give next week. We got
Next week,
her.
tune in.
But the following week we got to cover that. We got to cover
Yeah,
that.
we should cover that.
But yeah, Jacqueline Wade, tune in next week for sure. This woman is flat out amazing. I saw her on I met her on LinkedIn a few years ago, and I watched her TED talk. I sat with my family, my entire family. We sat in the living room and watched it. It was a TED talk, and it was just absolutely amazing. The long story short, she and her son decided to give every single day and make a project out of it. Project turned into the community turned into schools turned into the entire globe, and thousands of people given to the planet, to people, or so it's to you can give to people, to the planet, or to animals, like three ways, and just giving. And so now thousands and thousands of people. She got millions and millions of views on TED on YouTube for the TED Talk, and thousands of people, giving. Do One Give Day this year is going to be on the 21st, and it's just
21st.
giving. Simple. It's a simple thing, and if we could just be awake for just 3 seconds and realize actually giving opens the door for everything, even for you. Giving opens the door for everything, even for you. A lot of people think when they give, they lose. Nope.
Yeah.
Give, you win. And the people who saw you give win, because everyone's getting this thing called the dose of happiness. Remember that? DOSE, D for dopamine, O for oxytocin, S for serotonin, and E for endorphins. And those are the neurochemicals that flow through you when you give. And so does the other person who's getting the give. And the people who are watching the give. We're all getting high off the give.
Isn't that something? It's
Crazy.
powerful. And I want to show that even on today's show, the very first thing you do, the humility, is giving room for somebody else. It's giving some space. It's giving that opening that door. It's you start with give, right? And then you come back to yourself. It's
Yep.
about them, then back to yourself. Know these processes, guys. We're going to close this show out. But I thank everybody for watching us and paying attention. Hopefully you guys got something that blessed you today. And absolutely feel free to watch this again. It's going to be on YouTube and things like that. Share these links out and get people interested in what's going on, because I think we really have something here that can help benefit folks. As we grow, you grow. That's what the name of the show is, Mindset Ready Grow. And anything that we gain or learn from today, we're going to share that with you. So it's going to be a great resource for you. I'm going to run through these one more time. Humility is step one. Step two is self-reflection, looking back at yourself and actions. Then we need to do a course correction, making the proper adjustments based on the reflective analysis. And once we have all that data from our humility, the reflection, and the correction, we're going to take that into projection, an estimate of the forecast, our future situation and expectations based on the study of the present condition. What it looks like today is not what it's going to be tomorrow, based on these things here: humility, reflection, correction, and a new projection. Hopefully it's blessed you guys. Next week's show again is Do One, Give One Day. Jacqueline Wade will be joining us. Should be a good show. We're going to talk about the benefits of giving and some ways that you can give that you might not have thought about, and how that giving might actually benefit you even more. We're going to talk about some tax credits, things like that. It's tax time. Everybody's going to tax season. I think tomorrow was supposed to be national, or the end of our tax season, but it's been pushed back to July. So we got a little bit of time. If you haven't done that yet, you don't want to miss next week's show, because we're going to tell you how you can save some money and gather around the house. Even if you don't have your own business, even if you're an employee, we're going to show you some cool tools to save some money in giving. All right, that's our show. And Thank you all for watching. You guys have a blessed day as well. We'll catch you next week.
Sweet.